Bring your papa the monster.
I dreamt that it was night and that I was lying in bed.
Where is it? Where is it?
My bed stood with its foot towards the window. In front of the window there was a row of old walnut trees.
It's over there. It's over there, silly boy.
I know. It was winter and nighttime. Suddenly the window opened of its own accord and I was terrified to see that some white wolves were sitting on the big walnut tree in front of the window.
Dirty boy.
I'm sorry.
How many times? Not inside.
No, on the branches of the tree outside the window. There were 6 or 7 of them. The wolves were quite white and looked more like foxes or sheepdogs. They had big tails like foxes and they had their ears pricked like dogs when they pay attention to something. In great terror, evidently of being eaten up by the wolves, I screamed and woke up.
You're not going to wake up now.
I'm not going to wake up now.
You are sleepy. Relax.
I am sleepy. Relax. My nanny hurried to my bed to see what had happened to me. It took quite a long while before I was convinced that it had only been a dream. I'd had such a clear and lifelike image of the window opening and the wolves sitting on the tree.
Sigmund, what have I said to you?
And then what happened?
Eventually, I calmed down, felt as though I'd escaped from some great danger and fell asleep again.
Sleep now. Deeply. What?
Could you, after all your promises? Smoking, you know it's bad for you.
Nonsense, woman. Helps me concentrate. Without cigars, I'm so itches that I cannot think.
Because they're addictive.
Tobacco's not addictive.
Then why can't you give up? You know it's bad for you.
My dear wife, one smokes cigars to express, transform, repress subconscious urges.
You're a great psychoanalyst. Why don't you get your urges cured?
My poor dear woman, this is not how psychoanalysis works. One cannot be one's own analyst.
Or get someone else in to do it. Get Young to do it.
Never mention that name under this roof. And anyway, I don't need therapy. None of my urges is repressed.
And why do you need to smoke?
To keep calm when you're nagging me. Is that the post?
Yes.
That's quite a lot.
It's a week's worth. They won't deliver here anymore. They know we're Jewish. We have to collect it now.
Is that not dangerous?
Yes. But we must be brave, all of us.
Next time send the housekeeper. I'd hate to lose her, but if we did, you could always fill it.
Sit. There are swastika banners everywhere you look from nowhere. Police notices telling Jews to stay off the streets after dusk. For our own safety. 11 bobs there were in the city last night, and this morning they arrested for planting the bobs 4 Jews.
Bastards. Bastards, bastards, bastards.
We have to leave Vienna, Sigmund. We have to take our family and only what we can carry and leave Vienna today.
The Nobel Prize Committee have rejected my nomination.
Again? Oh, Sigmund, why this time?
He doesn't say.
Who?
Young. Useless bastard. I asked him to do one thing.
Well, at least he tried. He tried for you, Sigmund.
But the vile traitor says they won't even consider me for the award for literature. Literature! Me!
But didn't you do all that work? Explaining what Shakespeare's characters were really thinking, Lady Macbeth?
Scientifically. I proved all that scientifically. I'm a scientist, a visionary, on a par with Darwin and Copernicus.
Young must have been doing what he thought best.
He's a poisonous backstabber.
But Sigmund, the scientific committee had already rejected your work.
Yes, and we all know why, don't we?
Didn't they say you've not actually made a contribution to medical science, never mind an because they're all very repressed and they feel threatened by the unpleasant truths you have forced humanity to face?
Exactly. Who was it that demonstrated that behavior is governed by mechanisms unknown to the conscious mind?
Pavlov?
Pavlov? Pavlov? A charlatan with a tried circus act. Who mapped the dynamics of the non-conscious mind?
Oh, Nietzsche.
Must I forever be surrounded by ignorance?
Sigmund, Vienna's not safe for us. We must leave tonight.
How? We can't afford to, woman. The rest of those letters were bills and final demands. I owe so much money.
So what have we to lose?
My practice, my work, my reputation.
We can take those with us. Well, our passports are still valid.
What's wrong with our passports?
They're Austrian passports. Now there's no Austria, they'll be invalid. We need new Nazi passports and visas and permission to leave the Reich and money. We won't be able to take a penny out of the country. We'll dismiss the staff, sell whatever we don't need. My wedding ring, your bric-a-brac.
Not my bric-a-brac. It's not bric-a-brac. These are works of art, and more than that, they're gods.
I thought you were an atheist.
These are symbols. Anyway, we need hired help if we are to run a proper household where I can welcome patients. Sell my sister's jewelry if you must. Take it while they sleep. They contribute nothing and take up space and money.
God forbid I should do such a thing.
God be damned. We're atheists.
You speak for yourself, Sigmund Freud.
I speak for all of mankind.
Not to me, you don't.
Mama! Papa! Brown shirts have taken the institute. They're looting it now.
How? Why did they let them in?
A man in a long black coat knocked on the door. They asked him to identify himself. He seemed very proper. And as he was speaking, Brown shirts ran up, smashed the window, piled in, and opened the door to him. They're like animals. Papers everywhere, blowing down the streets.
Who the hell, my girl?
They made us line up in the street, took our names and told us girls to go.
What were you even doing there, Anna?
Helping out. I wanted to learn Papa's theories. Where else can I learn them? He won't tell me anything.
Anna, you are to stay away from the institute.
Well, obviously, now it's overrun with brown shirts. Sigmund, we must leave Vienna. We must leave Vienna today.
As soon as we can afford to, we will go. If I can secure a decent advance for my Moses book, 2 years of hard slog on that will finally pay off. And if we can find a few more rich patrons.
And bill them all, and make them pay their bills. Have you billed everyone you've seen this week? Who have you seen? Who are you seeing tonight? I'll make their bills now. Where's your appointment book?
I think I may have just burnt it.
That's your only record of who you're seeing!
Yes! Thank God.
On this occasion, you might want to thank Anna. Is it legible?
Perfectly, only the covers are singed.
It's close.
Oh no, the page for today is blackened. I don't know who else I'm supposed to be seeing this evening. Bloody Young's fault. His letter made me so angry. It was his fault.
Father, did you read all of Harry Young's letter?
We will not mention that man's name under this roof again.
Are you reading your father's letter?
Show some respect, my girl. Is nothing sacred?
Did you read it all, Papa? Who is coming here today?
Why? What does it say?
My dearest Sigmund, I am terribly sorry to tell you that, as I foresaw, the committee have indicated to me that you are not a suitable candidate for the award, as you have not made a contribution to literature as such, must let a unique one. Hold on, Papa. They are keen to stress that this is not to say that your work is in its own way unique, nor that it is not worthy of recognition, simply that the Nobel Prize of Literature is not the appropriate acknowledgement. On a positive note, you will, I expect, be excited to learn that your work has attracted the interest as the something suggests a person of considerable means and no little influence is entirely fascinated with your work and has read your every book, article and paper and intends to call on you on the 22nd of this month.
That's today.
I trust that you are happy that I have shared your address and that this discussion will mark a significant step towards your work receiving the exposure it deserves and you receiving your just deserts.
The exposure I deserve, my just deserts. Young hates me.
No, he doesn't.
Trust me, you don't know him like I do. Even his most innocent dreams are actually pure filth. A very sick man.
So who is coming here today? At what time?
It doesn't say. The name is being burnt.
I know exactly who it is.
How? The name has been burned clear away.
By using psychoanalytic deduction. With the correct insight, one has no need of empirical evidence. The unnamed visitor, the person of considerable means and no little influence, is Jung's own father. Yes, that's right. Jung hates his father almost as much as he hates me. Jung always saw me as a father. He envied my penis.
Does he not have a penis?
Sigmund, I will not have you discussing penises with our daughter in our home.
In this context, Anna is merely another of my disciples.
Whilst we are in our home,
We are in my consulting
you should
room.
not be discussing your penis with someone who calls you Papa.
Anna, henceforth, when we are at the printing press or in my consulting room, you are to address me as Herr Professor. Are you satisfied now, woman?
Is that all right, Mama?
Is that all right, Frau Professor?
Is that all right, Frau Professor? Oh, that sounds funny.
Of course it does. Your mother is not a professor, but, you know,
Neither are you.
No. But I should be. At least I could be, if I wanted. We were having a serious discussion. Can we get back onto my penis?
Does Herr Young not have his own Papa? A Herr Professor?
Not as big.
How? Why on earth would he think that?
Subconsciously, that would be his fear. In our relationship, Jung was always the little child, afraid I was the father who, at any moment, might castrate him. The same fear he has of his real father, who no doubt despises psychoanalysis, being very repressed. This is very normal, sadly. Read my famous case study, Little Hansel and the Well-Hung Horse. Jung is sending his father to me that we may battle it out. Mano a mano, sword to sword.
I'm sure I remember Young saying something about his father dying when he was a child. He must have told you that. You psychoanalyzed him so many times, you always ask that, don't you?
Don't presume to question my methods, wife. But yes, I think he did say that. Good grief! What else did he lie to me about? Just wait until I tell his father.
Papa, I don't think it's Herr Young's father coming here tonight.
Good, Anna, good. You're learning. You're learning. He will not come because... Because?
Because he died years ago?
Because he fears the searing power of my analysis. He's repressed, remember? He fears what it will reveal about him. Because of this, he may not come.
Or because he's dead.
Dead.
In which case, our visitor is another as yet unknown to us. Do not omit that possibility, dear mother.
If it's true that Young hates you, and who knows why, it could be possible that he could be sending someone to visit us, an enemy.
Enemy. Dead. The wolves! The wolves!
Sergei, listen to my voice. You are slowly waking up. 10, 9, 8, you are relaxed. 7, 6, you're waking up. 5, 4, you have complete faith in me as your therapist. 3, 2, 1. One wink.
They were here. Who was here? I heard voices.
This is very normal for your psychosis.
An animal trying to get in.
That was your dream. I feel we are very close.
I can't do this anymore. I'm not strong enough.
You are weak and neurotic, but with my extraordinary talent as your...
But it's been over a year now. I can't do this anymore. I can't afford this anymore.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. How many times you will learn to take responsibility for your own bad investment decisions? It is your responsibility to make sure that you can afford my treatment. 10, 9, 8, which is very reasonably priced. 7, 6, 5, 4, which you desperately need. 3, 2, 1. I'm afraid our time is up for today.
Herr Professor.
I have other patients to see, Sergei.
Sorry, Herr Professor.
Pay my wife on the way out.
Same time next week.
Herr Professor, the Nazis! It's nothing sacred.
Herr Professor, the brown
to
shirts.
conduct some important research.
The brown shirts have seized our printing press.
The brown shirts have seized what?
Our printing press. They're smashing windows and kicking down doors and taking whatever they can carry off and sell.
Whose printing press?
Ours, Herr Professor. Yours.
Oh, I see now. I understand.
Ernest.
Frau Professor. Anna.
Herr Jones.
Ernest.
What's happened?
The Nazis have taken our printing press. The brown shirts were working their way down the street, doing over all the Jewish bookshops. Just before they got to our door, grabbed the most important papers from your desk and made away with them just in time. A man in a long black coat knocked on the door, shaving a haircut. And then the brown shirt stormed the building.
Shaving a haircut? That's what they did at the Institute. I saw him too.
You went through my papers? Is nothing sacred?
I didn't look at any of it, Herr Professor. I came straight here as fast as I could. I mean, they were making people lie in the road with their mouths open on the curbstones.
Why?
I didn't stay to watch.
You roller skated all this way when there are Nazis on the streets hunting for Jews?
And?
Well, he could have been followed.
Hardly. He's on roller skates. They'd never keep up.
That's right, very fast. Well, they follow me, I'm not even Jewish.
A man on roller skates will stick out in a crowd.
And they said that about the first man to carry an umbrella. Soon you'll all be wearing these. I used to skate alone in my room surrounded by cushions, but now, Herr Professor, it's given me the
I have
confidence
never done any such thing.
God help us all. We have to leave this godforsaken country.
As I keep explaining.
You need to make more money. Starting now, families with less money have been fleeing Vienna for months now, but no, you wouldn't listen.
I don't like to run with the herd. That's the Jews' main problem. They're always...
That is not the Jews' main problem, though, is it, Sigmund?
What is it then?
The Nazis, Sigmund!
I know that!
You are to do everything you can to get more money so that we can escape the Nazis.
I can only see so many patients. I only have so much time.
Then take on assistants and delegate.
Such as who? I have tried that, and every time they take my ideas and run off and use them against me and change them on their own fickle whims and set up in practice against me in competition.
Then train people you can trust.
People who stay true to your ideals will be on your staff.
Can you not see the solution in front of you?
No. No.
We need the money.
You can trust your own family.
Your own household.
We do need money. Oh, all right then. Come here, Ernest. Go through this and find the manuscript for my Moses book. That's most important. Anna, go and help in the kitchen. You need to keep up with your domestic skills and get my sisters to help. They do nothing. A little role play. You be the therapist and I'll be the patient. Let's find out first what it is that you think you already know. Get along, you two. Come on, we all have work to do.
know your sisters aren't well.
They can
No.
They can make it down the stairs to my kitchen to help themselves to my larder when they want to. And they do nothing but complain.
This feels strange.
This feels wrong. The last time I shared my techniques.
Oh, Sigmund.
I'm just not sure about anything anymore, and I don't know whom to trust.
Oh, Sigmund. I'm not going to set up a rival school of psychoanalytical thought.
No. We've started.
Oh, I see.
Well, go on then. It's not so easy, eh?
What's actually wrong with you? Do you have any symptoms?
That's for you to find out.
Well, do you?
I've just told you.
Well, that's hardly a problem, is it? Not really a complaint.
Oh, brilliant! Shall I go then? I'm a patient, and I've come to you for help.
But that's not an illness, that's just self-pity. There are people starving in the world.
Well, I think it's a problem, and I'm a paying customer. Do your job.
Just use your common sense, get proper rest, out of bed, a bit earlier, tidy your room, give up smoking and drink less alcohol, take cold showers and get some proper exercises, set yourself some goals, do something that will make you proud of yourself. Sensible goals, be realistic, base your views of your abilities on your most recent achievements. Look for friends and mentors among the people around you. Respect your elders, especially your parents. Think of what you enjoy doing well and try and find a way to get paid for it. What?
Brilliant! And if I do all that and it works?
Well, then I would have cured you.
If you cure me, then I'll hardly have reason to come back, will I? We're trying to run a business here. And don't think I didn't notice the dig about my smoking.
It is bad for you, Sigmund. You've had surgery.
That had nothing to do with my cigars. And really, have cold showers. Really. Respect your parents. Is that what you think we should be telling people?
Why not?
Because it is my job as a psychotherapist to isolate my clients from their parents and friends. I'm their mentor. The point is that we need people to keep coming back, year after year, if you can.
But what if there's nothing wrong with them?
They're the ones to hang on to.
Don't we want patients with real serious problems?
People with actual mental problems here in our home? Are you mad? No, we want cry bullies, middle-class malingerers, spoiled children who refuse to grow up, who want to be told that the world has not been fair to them, that their parents didn't love them enough, that their friendlessness is someone else's fault. Ideally, if the parents have recently died and left them some money, that way we know that they can afford their fees, and the parents can't answer back. And if anyone starts trying to teach them discipline, self-denial, I put them straight. Cold showers indeed. We have words for people like that. Controlling, masochists.
You tell that to your patients.
Of course.
And they believe you.
Of course.
Why?
Because I'm a professor.
Well, you're not, though. Not really.
I could easily become a professor if I wanted to. And everyone calls me, "Hey, Professor."
Well, that's not the same, though. Not really.
That's not really... Of course it's not the same. It's better.
How is it better?
I don't need to mix with undergraduates.
So, what do you actually do with your patients?
I let them talk. They enjoy it.
And you listen and take notes?
That would give quite the wrong impression. I don't so much listen to what they're saying as I listen to what they're not saying.
How on earth is that even possible?
Yeah, so this is not so easy. It's not as easy as you thought, is it?
You wait for them to make Sigmundian slips.
That's one of my techniques.
Why do you call it that? Surely Freudian slip would be better?
I don't like to use my surname as an adjective.
Why not?
Because it's a gift to my critics. Freud is too close to Schadenfreude, and I don't make money from people's unhappiness.
Well, you do, and that's not what Schadenfreude means.
I know that. Stop twisting my words. I know what it means. You know what I mean. Anyway, Freudian sounds too much like fraudulent.
What?
Fraudulent, that's a very common word.
Ah, do you mean fraudulent?
That's what I said. Don't correct my speech, woman.
Do you ever make Sigmundian slips?
Of course not. I discovered them.
Tell me again how that happened.
Why?
I find the story interesting.
Why?
You're on the train, back from Naples, and you've got a young Austrian Jew, handsome and wise, I believe you described him.
If you already know the story...
He made his girlfriend pregnant, hadn't he? And she had to have an abortion, didn't she? And you got all that because he misquoted a line from Virgil.
Exoriare aliquis nostris ex ossibus ut.
Well, I don't know what any of that means.
And why on earth would you, dear woman?
I want to understand.
To be a therapist, Martha, one must first be psychoanalyzed oneself.
But when you first came out with these theories, you had never been.
I am the first of my kind. The first in human history. A visionary coming in direct line through Copernicus and Darwin. And they're not theories, they're scientific facts.
I thought you were going to teach me how to...
If I were to do so, all of your deepest, darkest secrets would become known to me.
Oh. Really?
Really. Your inner child, your id, is talking to the world. Shouting, trying to be heard. Your superego tries to silence it, but it speaks through the cracks. In a code that I, and only I, have been able to decrypt. Now I can teach anyone how to do this, but only after I've done it to them.
I'm not sure that that would be good for our marriage.
I think you are right, dear Martha. Something. Bing bong.
Perhaps I should concentrate on the household.
And leave the psychoanalysis to those of us with the head for it.
And the stomach for it. Sigmund, if you train Anna as a therapist, will you see all of her desires and her secrets?
I already do. I'm her father. I'm the great Sigmund.
Don't you ever forget that you're her father.
I love her as much as you do, Martha. I love her as much as tobacco.
That's just it, Sigmund. Tobacco is a thing you use and consume. I know she makes you happy, but she's a person, a woman, an adult. If you can see her desires and her secrets, can you tell me why she's still single and living here with us?
Do you want to know the truth? Really the truth?
I don't think I want to hear what you're about to say.
Come.
Papa, Mama, sorry to interrupt. I thought you might like to see this. A new patient. Perhaps our mystery guest.
A person of considerable means and no little influence.
An American.
Dorothy Tiffany Burling, huh?
I just met her. She dropped off herself. She's an American. So elegant.
A contradiction in terms. I've had the misfortune of visiting that country. The women remind one of prostitutes. They can't cook, and there aren't enough toilets. Awful place, awful people.
Oh no, Papa. You wait till you meet Dorothy. She's so...
You could be elegant if you wanted, my girl.
I think America sounds terribly exciting.
I caught colitis, Anna. Inflammation of the colon when I visited that awful place.
I'm sure lots of things cause that, Papa.
In my case, America. There was nothing wrong with my colon before.
Your colon was inflamed by the United States of America.
It was fine before.
And yet you refuse to believe me or the doctors that tell you that the cancer, that the cigars have caused the cancer that have caused 34 operations?
Speaking of which, Anna, I need you to change the monster. This new one is hurting my gums.
Oh, I can't watch this.
I said, don't make the teeth out of gold. I told them.
Oh, Anna, I don't like you doing this. Why don't you get one of the servants to do it?
Why can't you do it?
Oh, I haven't the stomach for it.
Anna, you must listen to me and do as I say, if you are to be a therapist.
No, Papa. When is that ever to happen?
Today, maybe.
Oh, Papa.
Are you ready? Well, what is it, girl?
Am I ready?
Why should you doubt it?
Because you always told me I'm not.
Well, now I'm saying that you are. You believed me before, believe me now.
Well, what if they can tell?
What if who can tell what?
What if my new patient can tell I'm inexperienced?
The conversation should never get into the subject of how good a therapist you are. You listen and you listen and you listen. And you say, go on. And you ask, and how did that make you feel? And you say, and now tell me what you're really trying to say.
But what if that doesn't work? What if they argue or complain?
Anna, we are pioneering psychodynamic therapists, not shopkeepers. Here, the customer is always wrong. Always. Why else would they be there? They're the ones with the psychoses. What do they know? They know nothing of my methods.
What if they read your book?
All of them? Impossible. No one has. And I'm always writing new ones. No one will ever catch me out. Catch up with me. My methods are always developed.
I'm not you, Papa. What if they argue with me?
Then you tell them that they're afraid of the power of psychoanalysis. And that's why they're fighting it. Because they're frightened of what it will reveal about them.
Is that in denial?
Yes.
Papa,
Yes.
would you let me psychoanalyze you?
No. Yes, of course. Practice. But perhaps not today. We're suddenly so busy today. There's so many visitors.
Would you ever let me psychoanalyze my mum?
No, I think not.
Why not?
What would be the point? You'd listen to her for an hour, listen to her complain about me for an hour, then she'd make up a bill, invoice herself, come to me for the money, and hand it back to me. You have no head for business, little one. And anyway, I love your mother just the way she is. Happy in her ignorance of her own many neuroses.
Is it hurting?
Oh, it's a new one.
Perhaps you're just getting used to it.
No, it's the gold teeth. They're digging into my gums. I can feel them grinding against the bone.
Oh, Papa.
I'd like to just take it out and rest, but we're suddenly so busy. Everything seems to be happening today.
If you take it out now, you only have to put it back in again. And I know how much that hurts you.
To just swap it for the old one. For now, these gold teeth are too big.
All right. The arm, the one on the left. No, that one.
Papa, those horrible things. I wish you wouldn't. Oh, my dear God.
Not that one, Aaron, the one on the left. Put your finger through my cheek.
I'm sorry, Papa. I didn't mean to. It's getting worse, isn't it?
It'll be fine. Oh, I need a smoke.
Are you sure that's not what's causing it?
Anna, I'm a doctor, I'm a scientist. And I do think I need a little rest. Please pass me a cigar. No, not that one. Oh, yes, sir.
I'll get this one cleaned up.
No, leave it for the housekeeper to do when it's full.
I'll empty out the ashtray.
Herr Professor, if you're training to assistant therapist...
Hell on earth, Jones, can you not knock?
I'm so sorry, Herr Professor. It didn't occur to me that as soon as Fraulein Freud left the room, you would start researching. I mean, I know I would want to get straight on with my work if I was as busy as I know you are.
What do you want so urgently?
If you're training new assistant therapists...
Who says I'm training new assistant therapists?
You did. I was here when you said it, Herr Professor. And you said you were going to train Frau Professor.
Well, that's not going to work out, Jones. Not everyone is suited to the role of therapist.
So now you're training Fraulein Freud?
Who told you that?
Frau Professor told me, Herr Professor, when I was helping her in the kitchen. Should I now call Fraulein Freud Fraulein Professor, Herr Professor?
How are you finding time to be in the kitchen? Are my sisters helping?
Oh, I believe they're up in bed. Not feeling well.
Typical. Where are you with my biography?
Oh, I'm waiting for your comments on my first draft.
I gave up commenting after the first chapter. My comments were longer than what I was commenting on. I'm rewriting it.
Does that mean I'm no longer involved?
Not at all. I want it published under your name. A man of my stature warrants a biography.
I'm afraid I...
And it has to be unbiased and objective.
I've little talent for original thought. To me, work is like a woman bearing a child. To you, I suppose it's more like fertilization.
What on earth is that supposed to be?
I was just trying to say something Submundian.
Well, please don't, ever again. You, Jones, have little talent for thought.
Oh, by the way, the manuscript for your Moses book wasn't among the papers I rescued from your desk. Do you have a copy here?
You worry about your own manuscript. Not a word of this to anyone.
Oh, of course, Herr Professor. It really is such an honour to be your official biographer. To spend time with you, your wife, your daughter.
Bit old for you, isn't she?
Oh, please.
I keep telling you, Jones, she's not right for you. You're wasting your time. Anna's not interested in you. She never will.
I still miss Lottie.
How many times, Jones? Lottie isn't right for you.
I wanted to marry her. I loved her.
You thought you did.
I sometimes think I still do. Even after you told me about the drugs.
Lottie loved morphine more than she loved you. More than she loved anyone at all.
Well, she never touched drugs when she was with me.
Her addiction was very repressed.
She didn't even know about her own addiction until you uncovered it. How is she?
She's a client, Jones. I can't discuss that.
Is she well? Is she happy?
What makes you think I'd know?
You just said she's a client.
She comes in for a prescription.
And that's working for her? The cocaine?
She seems to think so. Can't get enough of it. And who can blame her? Marvelous stuff. And I wouldn't have prescribed it if she didn't need it.
And that's stopping her from wanting to try morphine.
Let us hope so. We can only order so much at the moment. And all that we can get I use for my own medication.
Are you not worried you become addicted?
Me? Become addicted? Hardly. With my unique insight into human behavior, I'm above addiction. I take it every day and never once have I felt addicted.
Carry on, Papa. Oh, there, James.
Fraulein Professor. Whilst I'm waiting, you train me to be a therapist. If you're doing Anna, you can do me too, can't you?
Jones, what can you bring to the psychotherapy movement?
I have some business ideas.
Go on.
Group therapy.
Group therapy?
We could charge half the amount, but do a dozen at a time. Get 6 times the money.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of clients meeting and comparing notes. That could lead to mutiny. What else?
Well, this Pavlov fella has a circus act. But you said Pavlov only has a trite circus act.
I may have said that.
Well, how about we do the same thing, but instead of a circus act, a travelling stage show? The famous Professor Freud and his performing hysterical ladies.
A ridiculous title. Lex, gravitas.
I can work on that.
And what would the performing hysterical ladies do?
Cough. Hysterically. Or not, if you've cured them. We could have musical numbers and...
An imbecilic suggestion. Theatre audiences would reject my ideas. They're the worst kind of deviants. Very repressed. Jones, what can you bring to the psychotherapy movement as a practitioner? The role to which you now presume to aspire.
I have a good understanding of the works of Nietzsche.
Irrelevant. What else?
Scientific rigor.
Oh, God.
I'm a qualified doctor. A scientist like you.
Darwin was a scientist like me. Copernicus. You are not.
I can develop proofs to the skeptics, to the unbelievers, that your theories really work.
Are you suggesting that the efficacy of my methods is in question? Perhaps you are the skeptic, the unbeliever.
Oh, no, I would never...
You who have never practiced psychoanalysis, and now you ask me to teach you? Share my methods?
I was just thinking we can get an approach in a kindergarten and ask the mothers to keep a diary of the children's bowel movements.
What?
They're potty training. See which ones take ages. They would be the anally retentive ones.
Oh, yes. How clever.
And then we see what jobs they do.
Jobs?
Do children have jobs?
Oh no, once they've grown up, once they've settled into their true vocation.
But then we won't have the results of the experiment for decades.
I suppose not.
Well, that sounds reasonable enough, so long as it doesn't cost me any money. But if you'd paid attention, Jones, you'd know that that my theories have already been proven beyond doubt. Say what you see.
Black Labrador. Black Labrador running. Sitting. Having a drink.
Say what you see and react.
How does it make you feel?
Very good, Anna. How does it make you feel?
Eating. Oh, bless. He's hungry. Oh, there's another dog. Will they fight?
Interesting.
Oh no, they're going to be friends. They're just having a little sniff of each other. Just their way of saying hello. Oh, well, hello. They're straight at it. Good for them. You. I didn't want to see that.
Very interesting. You react to that last picture. Does it cause you embarrassment? Anger?
Not really.
Some people are embarrassed and angered by that last picture. And in a scientific study, their reactions were cross-referenced with their careers and domestic relationships. And the people who reacted most strongly to that last photograph perfectly matched my now well-established profile of the anally repressed personality. House-proud and fastidiously clingy.
But that just proves a correlation, not causality. How many people were profiled?
6.
6? That's not many.
By me. 6 people were profiled by me.
That's worse.
How dare you?
I just think it's better to have your theories tested by an independent authority.
I am independent. I have no academic affiliations whatsoever, except to an institute I founded and control.
But I just wanted to...
What? Oh, the proof is already there, but what?
But doesn't that just prove that people who are fastidious about cleanliness are more likely to be annoyed if you show them a picture of a dog doing a poop? Because that's what people who are fastidious about cleanliness are like. They're, you know, poop averse. More so than the average.
I think you are very repressed, and you seem not to understand how science works.
I don't.
In conventional medicine, perhaps, but the science of the mind requires more imagination and takes us beyond the empirical.
That's not really science then, is it?
This is the science of the mind. The rules are different.
But people who come to therapy will want to see measurable benefit.
Not if you're doing your job properly.
But Papa, Herr Professor, don't people come to you wanting to be happy?
And I change their minds for them. Happiness is for little children, for the simple-minded, and drugs. I give people insight into the darkness of human nature, the loneliness of the universe, the hopeless pointlessness of existence, and the delusional folly of faith. If I make measurable claims, people will measure them, and then they will be judging you.
Well, we should be judging them.
Heaven forbid! They should be judging themselves, and their parents, and everyone else who might be a rival to the therapist.
But what do I do if they start asking me for scientific evidence?
Your demand for evidence, your desire to impose regularity and order on the mysteries of the subconscious suggests that you are anally fixated. Can we talk about your bowel movements? No? What do you have to hide? You are ashamed at the pleasure you take in such things.
Sometimes
you withhold your feces because you value them.
Sometimes I do enjoy. It can be very satisfying first thing after breakfast just to sit down and have a good old...
Not you, you penis. That's what you say to the client.
But if I speak to the client like that though, Herr Professor, they might not fall in love with me though.
What?
I'm just worried that if I speak to the client like that, would there still be transference?
Transference is the blight of my life. Transference is not the goal of psychoanalysis.
But it happens.
To me, all of the time. I only need to talk to people about psychoanalysis and they fall in love with me.
Really? Do they tell you that?
No.
Then how can you tell?
No need to be jealous, Liebling. Most of the time they're confused by their own feelings and angry with themselves, which they externalize and redirect at me.
Oh, it smells in here of cigars and dogs. I really do feel sorry for your poor patient, Sigmund Freud, having to put up with this bunk.
You see, she thinks she's angry with me.
Your new client has arrived.
Dorothy? Oh, I'm so excited. Can I bring her in?
Sigmund, be careful with this one. If she really is the person that Young says in his letter, be careful.
Do not presume to tell me how to do my job, wife.
Don't you dare talk to me like that, Sigmund Freud. What are you smirking at, Ernie?
Herr Professor, may I present Mrs. Birmingham?
Thank you for coming, Mrs. Birmingham. It is the first step on your journey to recovery.
I'm not here to be psychoanalyzed myself, Dr. Freud.
Many people think they do not need to be analyzed. This is very normal, sadly, and yet you have come to see me.
I'm here to discuss my son. Your case study, Little Hansel and the Well-Hung Horse.
You've read it?
Oh yes, Dr. Freud, I've read it.
And how did it make you feel?
Very angry, Dr. Freud.
Fascinating, fascinating. This is very normal, sadly.
I'm divorcing my husband over it.
Oh, my dear. Are you sure that's right?
I have no choice, Fraulein Freud. I can no longer trust him with my son.
She's going bad for you.
I feel like I no longer trust another man at all. I gave my husband my heart, and I feel now I was wrong to have done so.
Oh, you poor dear. You can trust me, Dorothy.
Yes, I feel that I can.
Are you sure you would like to be psychoanalyzed? I would love to be your therapist.
Well, what would that involve?
Just you talking to me.
What about?
Whatever you like.
But you should have a man psychoanalyze you. You know that sometimes patients can develop strong emotional attachments to their therapists.
Where shall we do it? Not here.
Romantic attachments.
My bedroom?
Show me the way.
Ah, women.
Young Centre, very obvious.
She didn't mention him.
When you've seen as many hysterical women as I have. Speaking of which, do you never knock, woman?
Your mystery visitor. Unless I'm very much mistaken.
Marie Blanc. Is she tall?
Not especially. Why?
Our visitor has a Napoleon complex. Look, she has an imperial coronet embossed above it. Send her in. Jones, stay and watch and learn. Observe how I slowly but inexorably wear down the patient's reluctance to address their real problems, their sexual problems.
I will require tea, Darjeeling, 1 teaspoon of clear honey, no milk. Dr. Freud,
Yes.
you see?
No.
I knew it was you as soon as I walked in, from your photograph. I knew it was you because you look like the photograph at the back of your book. Very clever of me, I know. Where shall I sit? So, phew, where do I start? I can never have proper orgasms. My husband George couldn't either, not with me. But he does with Valdemar, his uncle. They've always been terribly close, you see. Mighty, are you a servant? Or have you called one? At first, I did wonder if George said that to me to wound me. I never climaxed with Valdemar either, you see. But I know that George isn't impotent because I've seen him orgasm when he was watching Valdemar and I from an armchair. Rather like he's doing now. Do you know that man?
Oh, Dr. Ernest Jones.
Tell him he's not allowed to join in if he's only watching. So, I read your book, had it all done, and long story short, still no joy.
But how does that make
Even
you...
when I'm polishing the jewel myself, you understand?
Yes.
Taming the shrew.
Yes, I can.
Knocking on heaven's door.
And how does that make
Tapping my own potential. Do you know what I think about? When I'm playing my little pink harp?
I want you to tell me all about it. Lie back and close your eyes and tell me everything. Jones.
I'm not looking.
Leave us. This case requires my undiluted attention.
You shouldn't be talking about myself.
Oh yes, you should. Now tell me all about what you think about when you...
It isn't me who needs analysing.
Oh, everyone says so. This is very normal, sadly.
Not as urgently as Poppy, my little girl. She's been ever so sulky. I do think she's sickening for something.
How old is Poppy?
4 years old last week. 28
Before we get into her, tell me about your parents. Are they still with you?
Both dead. Poppy is all I have.
Madame Blanc, please. Was your father a wealthy man?
That's not really my name.
I knew it. Jones, get in here! Now it all comes out. Who sent you? I already know anyway.
I am Princess Marie Bonaparte.
Yes, sir, Professor.
Princess Bonaparte, as in...
Napoleon I was my great-uncle.
Leave us, Jones. Princess.
Call me Marie, please, Sigmund.
I will call you Marie, but you must call me Herr Professor.
You're right, of course. This is a professional relationship. Let us be formal, Herr Professor.
So, Marie, tell me about...
Your Royal Highness.
Do titles derived from Napoleon carry that epithet?
My title isn't French. I inherited nothing from the Bonapartes. Nothing.
Nothing? Jones, get in here! Jones, you will lead the session under my supervision.
The title was a wedding present from my father-in-law, His Majesty the King of Greece.
Leave us, Jones.
Please, Herr Professor, will you help my little Poppy?
Of course, of course, of course. Such a marriage must bring with it a weight of duty. The responsibility that comes with such huge wealth must be...
I left all that behind with my divorce. We had a prenuptial agreement. We both walked away from the marriage with what we brought to it. Now, Poppy wants to meet you. Oh, she's asleep.
You have no money, Jones! And you want me to psychoanalyze your dog?
She's so tired all of the time. Wake up, my little princess.
Yes, sir, Professor.
All of my money comes from Grand-Père Blanc. He set up the casino in Monte Carlo. I am constantly shocked by how much money people keep spending in there.
Let's meet this little princess then, shall we?
Darling!
Now look what you've done.
Why has Anna taken that American woman to her bedroom?
Has she?
Yes.
Oh, I think she might be trying to psychoanalyze her.
I worry about that girl. What are they doing up there? What have you been doing in here?
I've just met my star client and our way out of here.
Oh, that bitch?
It's complicated. You wouldn't understand, but if I play my cards right, we're going to ride that poodle to new life in London.
What have you been doing in here?
It's not mine.
Well, it certainly doesn't look like yours.
Nothing. Who said I was doing anything with it? Why is it always me who you accuse of doing
Why
things?
are you holding it?
It must have fallen out of her bag when the dog escaped.
You better get back in her bag before she thinks we stole it and calls the police. Is it gold?
I think it must be. Oh, where would you put a hallmark on such a... Jones, go and rescue the princess's poodle. That dog is a client.
I'm not psychoanalyzing a poodle.
Damn right you're not. That dog is a very important client. Go quickly.
I'm sorry to have to say this, Dr. Freud, but your dog is a bully.
Just like us, the psyche of the dog is pure animal.
Poppy is not an animal. She's a very good girl. That's better.
Isn't it? Oh, let her sleep. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Can we please get on?
Poor baby. I hope she's going to be all right.
What happened to her?
A heavy object dart fell over onto her in my handbag.
Let's press on, shall we? So that I can treat all of you personally, all at once. We are using a new technique of mine called group therapy. I can only do this with all of you because you're all suitable subjects. So much so that I think some of you may one day be great therapists yourselves. We're going to take it in turns to share with the group a secret.
I should go first.
Something that defines you. Don't be embarrassed.
I'm too caring.
I'm too forgiving.
I know I'll never marry.
I'll never marry again.
I think this room needs a clean and some fresh air.
No.
Good.
I'm too trusting and generous.
I always get bullied.
I like to fantasize.
I have a great big golden cock in my handbag.
Let's explore that, shall we? Marie, why do you have a great big golden cock in your handbag?
Commission an avant-garde artist to create sculpture of me. I wanted it to express not just my appearance, but to reflect my soul. When I sat for him, I knew he wasn't listening. I shared with him my inner light, and he kept smirking. And then he produced this. I carry it everywhere so no one can find it and see it.
What does this tell us?
He thought you were very vulgar.
Martha.
It's true. He mocks me.
And how does that make you feel?
Humiliated.
Good. Because you do not have a penis. Something all women must sadly have to live with. Let's put this humiliation behind you. Get rid of it.
Why didn't you just give it back to him?
That wouldn't help.
Well, rejecting his work, what could be more devastating to an artist?
A completely impractical suggestion.
Well, then give it to me then. I can
She's not going to give it to you.
give it to me. I can have it reworked.
Give it to you. You're not a qualified therapist.
No, but I am a jeweler. Or at least I have a jewelry business. I could have it reworked into something less offensive.
Perhaps I should.
Oh, you have a business, a jewelry business, do you?
Tiffany's on 5th Avenue.
Perhaps not a practical solution, but an insightful one. I think you show great potential, psychotherapeutically speaking, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of your ideas. But for now, let's put this cruel and offensive object out of sight, where it can't fall over onto little Poppy again.
I feel so guilty about that.
Don't.
It's never happened before. I still don't understand.
You cannot understand the darkest urges of your own subconscious.
You mean I hurt Poppy? Deliberately?
Subconsciously, so not deliberately.
But that's impossible.
You question my analysis?
Oh, never I hurt Professor. I read your book cover to cover. I'm your biggest fan. I even had my clitoris surgically moved to improve my orgasms.
And how does that make you feel?
Well, after the swelling went down and the stitches came out.
You had it removed.
Moved, not removed, you bizarre little man. Men, they never listen. I read in your book, Herr Professor, about how the clitoris is too far from the G-spot. Have you even read the professor's book?
Not my brightest disciple.
You know he's written more than one.
Don't be such a Patrick Jones.
Perhaps if you fantasize your orgasm better.
Anna, please.
Oh, Mama, stop being so repressed. I like to fantasise that I'm a gallant knight of old, chained up in a dungeon.
What?
Don't tell Papa. And I'm being tortured for information by a page. And he has dark eyelashes, but I never give in.
Anna, be quiet. You've been making my daughter talk to you like this after all your promises.
And all along I thought, you've been using transference on her to make him fall in love with you instead of me.
You couldn't be further from the truth.
Oh no! You love him. Yes, you do. You want to kiss him on the trousers.
You're too forgiving, are you? That's your defining secret, is it? Were you being bullied back in England by the parents of those patients, those children who lodged formal complaints against you?
But you said transference. You said so yourself. Those children's complaints were bogus. Their sexual repressed fancies were what they wished I'd done to them, which I didn't. Nothing was proven. My legal team used your case studies in my defence. My innocence was proven, scientifically.
I have heard enough. His case studies? Your case studies?
Mrs. Birmingham, please wait your turn. I must insist.
I'm not here to be psychoanalyzed, Dr. Freud.
Everyone says that. You said that when you arrived, and yet here you are.
Little Hansel and the well-hung horse is about my son. My son, Hansel, who you never even met, Dr. Freud. Hansel was afraid of horses. When he was a toddler, a dray horse stumbled on wet cobbles and cried out right next to us. He would have grown out of it as he got bigger, but my husband, my sad, mad husband, wrote to you.
Birmingham, I knew that name. Therapy by post. I should do that more often. I explained that the horse's blinkers and bridle evoked in the boy's subconscious his father's spectacles and whiskers, and its huge pendulous penis made him jealous. And as a result, the boy was cured.
You did not cure him.
Is he still afraid of horses?
No, but...
Exactly.
Because he's not a toddler anymore. My husband stood over our little boy and drilled into him your idiotic, dark, and twisted theories.
They're not theories, dear lady. They're scientific facts.
Borne out by what?
Well, look at all the case studies.
Of which this
There
is
are
one,
others.
based on a child who you never even met. That's the entire basis behind your so-called Oedipus complex.
Well, actually, no. The Oedipus complex is strongly supported by Herr Professor's analysis of Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Oh, so you met Hamlet personally, did you, Dr. Freud? I don't believe you did. I intend to track them all down, your case study subjects, to find out their true stories and to expose you.
I will protect my patient's privacy.
Oh, like you protected Bertha Pappenheim. Do you know where she is now, Dr. Freud?
Who's Bertha Pappenheim?
You may know her better as Anna O. A case study he named after you, poor girl.
Ah, yes, she had a hysterical cough caused by her sexually repressed feelings for her father. Classic electrocomplex.
A hysterical cough?
One without medical cause. Every time she was with her father, she saw phallic symbols at the corner of her eye, and she coughed.
When she saw her father. When she was with her father, she was nursing him. He was dying of tubercular meningitis, and she was by his side 24 hours a day in his last weeks. She went without sleep, and yes, she probably did imagine seeing things in the shadows in the corner of her eye.
Snakes represent...
And yes, she coughed. She caught tubercular meningitis. Of course she coughed. And after her father was dead, suddenly her life was empty. She knew she liked caring for people. She had her inheritance, and then she met you, Dr. Freud.
You are obviously very threatened by Professor...
Cannon, douchebag! You told her she could join your new psychotherapy movement and make people happy, which is all she ever wanted, but only if she first allowed herself to succumb to your analysis. You brainwashed her into believing that all of her selfless kindness toward her father was only borne out by incestuous lust.
Mrs. Birmingham, please.
She is a broken woman now, Dr. Freud. You broke her. She's in a rest home now. She sits by the window all day and she looks at the lake and she cries. And yes, she coughs.
Mrs. Birmingham, please. Dorothy. I thought we were friends. Here, let me make you a cup of tea.
Tea? Tea? She doesn't need tea. She needs therapy.
You are obviously very repressed.
Oh, I'm repressed.
So you admit it?
That was a question.
That was a classic Sigmundian slip, which I invented.
Invented? Like you invented your case study?
That's unfair. There's a lot of scientific backing for head professor's theories.
Oh, really?
Go on, show her the photo of the shitting dog.
What?
Now you've ruined the surprise.
You claim that every one of your patients was sexually abused by their parents. Usually one of their parents.
Yes,
And you can prove this.
yes. This is what they tell me.
Are you sure it's not what you tell them?
It is what they tell me through the symbolism of their dreams.
If it's true that half the parents in Vienna are raping their children, why have you never involved the police? Is it because you knew there'd be no evidence? Let's call the police, shall we? Get them to interview your clients.
You clearly do not understand psychoanalysis. Has it not occurred to you that my clients may be telling me through the symbolism of their dreams, of their suppressed longing to be sexually abused by their parents?
Ha ha! There, you see? That's science. Try arguing with that.
Can you not see? You are contradicting yourself as you go along. You clearly know nothing of proper scientific research.
I've done hundreds of hours of rigorous scientific research. Unlike any of you, I've tried it. And it's boring. When I was an undergraduate at the University of Vienna, I spent 4 months dissecting eels in search of the private parts of the male. I spent more time on my quest for the eel's willy than Darwin himself. And what reward did it bring me?
You never found them.
I never found them. And I smelled of fish all of the time. The eels mocked me with their slippery, phallic bodies. Not literally, obviously. I am a visionary, not a lab assistant.
I've heard enough. I'm leaving this madhouse. I'm going to track down your case study subjects and expose you.
No! Please don't go.
Mrs. Birmingham, Austria's not safe. Not for anyone. You have money, and you have an American passport. Go back to New York to safety while you still can.
Dorothy, please don't leave me.
Anna, please don't go.
Oh, Ernie, will you drop it?
Anna, you'll stay for me, won't you? I know you'll stay for me. I know you'll never advise for any man. I've known for some time. No man save me. It is the curse of my life that I alone know the secrets of the human psyche. And when people realize that, they fall in love with me. It's not your fault, Liebling. You stood no chance.
Is that right, Sigmund?
Do not be jealous, dear wife. One day I will be loved by all of mankind.
Did you reveal the secrets of the psyche to my sister? When she was staying with us in the spare room, she went to Naples for a fortnight. Do you remember? When she came back, she had been changed. That handsome and wise young Jew that you spoke about, the one that was on the train, coming back from Naples, who had made his girlfriend pregnant, and she needed an abortion. That was you, wasn't it?
How do you know? How do you think? How could you even think such a thing?
When have you ever described another human being as wise?
Well, can you blame me?
Can I? For the things that you've done? Yes!
When did you and I last share any intimacy? Not before, not since Anna was born, and before that you were always either pregnant or...
Giving us a family! Our family!
And what about my needs? In 30 years, we've had sex fewer than 30 times.
You have no idea what having 6 children does to a woman.
I know what it did to me, to our marriage.
What it did to you?
I have needs. Anna was our last child 2 decades ago.
Actually, Papa...
Be quiet, Anna!
What's your excuse for the last 20 years?
My excuse. We'll speak of this later.
No, go on, this is terrific.
Yes, don't stop.
Sigmund, we haven't slept on the same floor of the house Never mind the same room, never mind the same bed for years now.
You know perfectly well that's because...
Not because you've had so many cancerous growths taken from you that you have to take half of your face at night and sit in a jar. Not because of that. Not because you sleep alone on the couch under a mosquito net to keep the flies away from the gangrene that keeps eating holes in your cheeks. Not because of that. Not because you permanently smell of wet dogs and cigars. Not because you speak of sexuality as if it's yours and not ours. But because you see love as an illness. And I think that perhaps with you it is.
And how does that make you feel?
I'm leaving you, Sigmund. I think it's for the best.
It's good to get these things out into the open, isn't it?
Bottling things up. Where will you go? I keep telling you, we don't have valid passports. How will you get across the border? Switzerland is 300 miles away. Most of it over the Alps.
There are Nazis at every railway station checking people's papers.
I'll retract. At least we're safe here for a while.
Bing bong.
I hope you don't mind my letting myself in. I wanted to reach you before my colleagues. They are men of simple views and strong convictions. I keep telling them, give people a chance to come to their doors first, but you must be Dr. Freud. And Frau Freud? Ah. Dr. Anton Sauerwald, at your service. I apologize most humbly for this intrusion into your home. The Führer requires it, madam. I'm driven by my orders, and he must needs go whom the devil drives.
Are you not in command of these people? Do they not obey your orders?
May I sit down? Thank you. My colleagues are brown shirts, the scum of the earth, delighted to be breaking windows and stealing. The Führer has told them that they can raid the property of the Jews and kick out the old men's gold teeth. And if the Führer told them they could, they would do the same to me.
Where are they now?
Oh, I told them to go to your kitchen. I suggested they have some dinner. Please, forgive the presumption, but I assure you this is in your best interests. It gives us a little time to talk. The Reich is very interested in your work, Dr. Freud. In you.
He burned his work.
The boys in your kitchen would burn you on the Stephansplatz, and they'll do so tonight if they can, straight after dinner. But I have alternative plans for you. You'll be pleased to know that the Reich has pronounced that your institute is to be maintained under the leadership of Matthias Heinrich Goering, the cousin of Hermann Goering, the commandant of the Luftwaffe.
That's outrageous. I founded that institute.
And the Reich will maintain it.
Without my leadership, impossible.
Science is by definition open to all scientists.
But the principles that underpin my work
will be upheld. One moment. 3, 2, 1. Goering has embraced your theories with vigor. He particularly commends your rigorous scientific discipline.
Finally. So the Nazi Party will maintain my institute. My works will continue to be published.
The Third Reich will quote you for the next 1,000 years.
They're happy to accept that a fascination with excrement and a desire to kill or have sex with one's parents underpins the behavior of all humanity.
No, just Jews.
The next 1,000 years, you say?
Your reputation will outlive the Jews.
As a man of science, that's all I've ever wanted.
Goering, like you, is a huge fan of Darwin, as of course is the Führer.
I have often been compared with Darwin and Copernicus.
That was right outside!
I must get this checked. It's over 100 meters away. That's a safe distance for a device of that size and type, madam.
You can hear that all from a sound.
Goodness no, dear lady. I have been admiring your library. I've never seen many a private collection so vast.
And I've read every single one. I don't hoard them like some.
All of them? Some of them are reference books.
Every single one, cover to cover.
I see you have the complete works of Nietzsche. Great man.
Except those ones.
They look well thumbed.
Didn't even know they were there. Not actually heard of him. Not sure how they got in there. So that's how that's pronounced, is it?
I read your first book. I have a first edition.
And what did you think?
Well, since you asked my opinion, I will give it to you. Your contemporary reworking of Nietzsche, despite its sensationalist style and gross plagiarism, is second only to the work of your former friend, Carl Jung, who at least did you the honor of quoting you as a source.
Jung doesn't understand.
Goering is a huge fan of Jung. Jung has recently written that the Jew has an inferior subconscious, whatever that means.
Jung knows nothing. I discovered the unconscious mind.
There were many before you. Hume, Hegel, Leibniz, Schopenhauer.
Kant, you tell it.
Many of the great thinkers who considered the pre-conscious, the subconscious, the unconscious mind in books I see before me on your shelves. That is nearly a minute slow. 150 meters away, madam. We're quite safe. It's the next street but one. Ever since the Nazis came to power in Germany, I've been wondering when a Jewish resistance leader would emerge. Your legends, your scriptures, sorry, are full of them. But nothing, no one. It makes one doubt the scriptures, doesn't it? And then I heard of you.
Herr Sauerland, are you a Nazi?
Well, everyone's a Nazi nowadays, dear lady. Everyone to speak of. Even I need to speak alone. Ladies, please go to your rooms and wait until summoned. Do not attempt to leave the building. Do not go near the kitchen. Do nothing to draw their attention. Would you be interested in such a position, Dr. Freud? Leader of the underground Jewish resistance. You are a brave and imaginative man. The idea must have occurred to you.
Of course, I have thought about how good I would be at it. But no, I haven't seriously considered that. It would be a waste of my genius.
Goering will be disappointed. The Post reports directly to him.
Why would the Jewish resistance leader report to the Nazis?
To guarantee his safety and the safety of his family.
For how long?
Until such time as the idea of the emergence of a real Jewish resistance leader is no longer seen as a serious threat to the Reich.
And then?
I'm glad you said no.
You would have thought less of me? Is that...
I have a better use for you. Or rather, Goebbels does. Oh, does Goebbels have a mission for you? Only he and I know about it.
Is that my menu?
I must ask you, Dr. Freud, do you honestly believe the things that you write?
Everything I've ever written, everything I've done has been in good faith.
Faith? Now, that's an interesting choice of word. Have you founded a new branch of medical science or a new religion?
I'm an atheist.
You have disciples? You hold confession? You collect tithes? You hand down edicts on sexual morality and the non-physical world. How is this not a religion?
I've The theory behind psychodynamic therapy can seem mystifying to the novice.
I am a chemist by trade, but I don't put any faith in chemistry. I rely only on what has been tested and can be proven. I'm completely skeptical about everything. Now that is science. That's why we need religion. We need somewhere to keep our faith, but it has no place in science. Now, this is a work of science, is it? Moses and monotheism. Fascinating. Have you thought about how this work will affect the Jews? Their standing in the world, their morale?
Yes, yes, of course.
You claim that Moses, the author of the Torah, was not a misplaced Hebrew orphan, but an Egyptian prince. And that when he presented the Ten Commandments to the Israelites, savage pagans according to you, they lynched him. And then they ate him. Do you stand by this, Dr. Freud? Think carefully. Downstairs in your house are men who will kill you tonight at my command. Upstairs, your wife, daughter, and sisters. On your desk are transit papers for 8 people. Safe passage to Switzerland, onward to London via Paris. The British have granted you refugee status. Do you mind if I use your pen? I'll make out the first one in your name, shall I? So, what do you say? Do you stand by your work?
If I say I stand by it,
no clues. Just give me your honest answer, and I'll tell you whether it's to be London or a lynching for you.
I stand by every word I ever wrote.
Good. That's what I hoped you'd say. But I have to ask why. Why do you stand by your work?
My work is who I am. When I was very young, I had a terrible nightmare, and I went to my parents' bedroom to sleep with them. And my father said to my mother, "For God's sake, Amalia, he's 7 years old. He can't be sleeping in here." But I dreamed again about Nanny, saying she's going to cut off my willy. And Mama said, "She was only joking, Ziggy, but you do play with it too much, dear boy. And in company, it's embarrassing. Go back to your own room and go to your bed." But I didn't want to. So I defecated. Standing there in the doorway of my parents' bedroom, in my nightshirt, I emptied my bowels onto the floor. When we are babies, our bowel movements are our gift to our parents.
Gift.
A gift. Our way of saying thank you. My father did not understand this, being very repressed, which is very wrong, sadly. And as he was getting up and coming over to hit me, he said, "This boy will never amount to anything." He actually said that. My own father. He was wrong. I am someone. And he will only be remembered as a footnote in books they will write about me.
Fascinating. May I suggest that you take greater care of this manuscript in future? You may bring the others back down. Oh, Dr. Freud.
Yes?
Forgive my directness. I know you must have a lot on your mind, but I am a guest in your house. Are you not going to offer me a drink? Schnapps, please. Flülmli, if you have any.
It's in the kitchen.
Tell them it's for me. Don't worry, you'll be quite safe. They know better than to come between me and a Flülmli at this time of the evening.
I have to ask why. Why are you letting me go?
Find myself without cigars. Because of the fervency with which you defend your theories. The Fuhrer believes that war with Britain is inevitable, And with this in mind, the Reich seeks to spread your values and your views throughout the English-speaking world and accelerate the degeneracy of Anglo-Saxon civilization. It's going to be a dirty war, Dr. Freud, and you are our first stink bomb.
As you are my guest, help yourself. The jar on the desk. The one to your right.
Quick as you can now.
Take one. Have them all if you like. My gift to you. I do love them so. You don't indulge?
In this?
You disapprove. My daughter tells me to stop. And I've tried, but I cannot help myself. I only have one now and then. People keep telling me it's unhealthy.
Well, I should say so.
My wife hates them. Hates the smell on my breath. But it's my life. I have only so many years on earth, and I will do what I have to do to focus my mind on my work. They help me concentrate.
Oh, I feel sick, I know. And a cigar.
Well, in that case, why not help yourself to...
Are you going to have one here, Professor? You're going to have one of those. I have no idea. I have so much to learn.
What is this thing?
A startling sight, is it not? Sometimes I see the most artful beauty in its curves. But most of the time, the very thought of it makes me shiver.
Why on earth do you keep it in here?
Oh, my wife won't have it in the bedroom. It would make more sense to keep it in the bedroom, but she is sad and angry that I have it at all.
She doesn't approve, eh?
Oh, she knows I need it. But she refuses to touch it. She's resigned to leaving the whole business to me and my daughter.
Daughter?
She inserts it. She says she hates doing it. Only does it because she loves me and she knows how much I need it.
Your daughter inserts this into you?
Obviously.
Monster!
That's exactly what she calls it. As I was saying, it brings tears to my eyes when she forces it in. Sometimes it feels as if it just won't go in and I have to signal to her to push harder. I signal because, of course, I cannot speak. But yes, I feel that on some level she enjoys it.
But, why? Why do you make her?
I could hardly insert it myself. Could you?
I'm going to try.
Exactly, but I need it, of course. It makes me myself. Without it, I do not feel whole.
How often do you use it?
Oh, every day, all of the time. She inserts it in the morning and extracts it in the evening.
But,
I have two. That's the spare. I have the other in place now. Here, I'll show you.
No!
Why don't you keep that one? I don't like the gold.
Are you serious?
Something to remember me by. You'll probably want to give it a rinse.
Oh, you think so? Ladies. Fraulein, Frau Freud. I must thank you for your hospitality and company this evening and be on with my duties. Your transit papers are all here, signed and stamped. You need only add your details and sign them. Please be sure to leave Vienna tonight.
Oh, Sigmund, I'm so sorry I doubted you. I'll take 3 of these to your sisters.
They're not coming. They're bedridden after all. They'd only slow us down. I need my lawyer, my doctor, and our housekeeper. We'll call on them on the way to the station.
But they're your own flesh and blood.
They've never respected my work. No, I need my entourage.
That still leaves one left.
Oh, we'll take your sister. She's family after all. Go and pack. Just what you can carry. We will resume your training in London.